me. Sour.
Good evening and you're welcome to the Global News on One TV network. First, the headlines. Atiku finally unveils Okowa as running mate. Tinubu submits Masari's name as running mate. World Bank says Nigerian FX reserve will again. US-led coalition captures senior ISIS leader in Syria. 2023 presidential, Atiku finally unveils Okowa as running mate. We'll go for a short break and be right back with the news in details. TV. I am Sophia Abraham. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar has finally unveiled Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta State as his running mate. While unveiling Okowa at the PDP headquarters in Abuja on Thursday, the former vice president said his running mate must be able to speak his mind freely. He also said Okowa must be ready to work with him at all times. Atiku said the decision of his running mate was a difficult decision, but I'm not afraid to take such decisions, he quoted. It will be recalled that Okowa and Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State were initially penciled down for the role of Atiku's running mate. As the deadline for political parties to submit the names of presidential candidates and their running mates, as directed by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) draw close, the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress (APC), Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has submitted the name of Kabir Ibrahim Masari. It was, however, gathered that the name of Masari, who hails from the home state of Buhari, would later be changed after the party's stakeholder must have agreed on the suitable vice presidential candidate for the 2023 election. The move is to ensure that the APC meets INEC statutory requirements as consultation is still ongoing, according to the insider sources. The source said Tinubu will today meet President Muhammadu Buhari as consultation continues on the issue of his running mate. Recall that there have been strong opposition against the issue of Muslim to Muslim tickets being moved by the ruling party. The Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has urged Nigeria to ignore the manipulated video suggesting that he is on his way out of People's Democratic Party (PDP). Wike, in a statement by his spokesman Kelvin Ebiri, said the video making the rounds was an excerpt from a previous interview he had with regards of the defection of Ebonyi State's Governor Dave Umahi from the PDP to the All Progressive Congress (APC). Governor Wike further asserted that he has repeatedly maintained that he will never, under any circumstances, defect from the PDP, which has offered him the platform to excel in his political career. Recall that the said video circulating all over social media purports that the governor intends to defect from the PDP following his loss at the recently conducted presidential election. The People's Democratic Party on Wednesday slammed the All Progressive Congress over the claim that the ruling party would win the 2023 general election with 43 million votes if the conduct was free and fair. The national chairman of the APC, Senator Abdullahi Amadu, made the assertion while receiving the ambassador of Poland in Nigeria, Joanna Tanaskwa, in his office on Wednesday. Adamu said with the massive support the party enjoyed from over 43 million Nigerians, there was no way the party would lose the 2023 election. Adamu's statements Wednesday night evoked a scathing reaction from the PDP spokesman Debo Ologunaba, who queried where the APC hoped to garner the imaginary votes. Ologunaba disclosed that unless the APC chairman was hallucinating, such statements should not be coming from a party that rode into power through lies and propaganda. Ologunaba said, "Who are the 43 million Nigerians the APC is banking on? Are they the ones that are hungry, whose lives have been cut short or whose children have been kidnapped? Abdullahi Adamu is hallucinating. That's how I describe it," he quotes. The governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, has denied advocating for a Muslim-to-Muslim ticket for the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress (APC), Bola Tinubu Ahmed. In a statement signed by the Imo State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Declan Emelumba, the governor said at no time did he canvass such a position. The statement said the governor was only emphasizing that religion should not be a factor in picking a vice presidential candidate for the party, but competence. How can this position amount to advocating for Muslim-to-Muslim presidential ticket? The commissioner asked. He went on to accuse those he described as mischief makers for twisting the governor's statement. The campaign organization of the All Progressive Congress (APC) presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu has declared that the People's Democratic Party (PDP) is afraid of a Muslim-to-Muslim 2023 ticket. In a Facebook post Wednesday night, Bayo Onanuga, Tinubu's campaign spokesperson, accused the PDP of propaganda and scaremongering campaign. The veteran journalist said nearly 3 weeks after the PDP breached the power rotation principle, which ought to return power to the South, the PDP dittered over the choice of a running mate for its candidate, Atiku Abubakar. In his words, he quotes, "Only PDP can be mortally afraid of a Muslim-to-Muslim ticket, as it is mostly likely to disrupt its 2023 general election reputation the way it upsets its ancestral party, the National Republican Convention in 1993, when MKO Abiola and Babagana Kingibe won handily." Onanuga said the fear of APC and its candidate has been fueling national antagonism against a matter beyond the purview of the 1999 Constitution. You're watching the news on One TV Network. The news return after this break. Welcome back. Still on the news, the police in Rivers State has smashed the child trafficking syndicate and rescued a 5-year-old girl sold for 600,000 naira to an undisclosed buyer in Imo State. The child was said to have been kidnapped from Omagwa community in the Ikwere local government area of Rivers State by her mother's sister on May 20th, 2022. The Rivers State Commissioner of Police Friday Ebuka disclosed this while parading 30 suspects are arrested for various crimes at the police headquarters in Port Harcourt. Ebuka said the suspects will be charged to court at the conclusion of investigations. The Zamfara state government says it is considering shutting down telecommunication services in the state if the need arises for the second time. In a statement, the special advisor to Governor Matala Wale on media, Zielani Pada, said the state government has yet to close down the telecommunication services as being rumored in the state. Bapa said that if the implementation of communication shutdown becomes necessary, it can be employed once again. Still on the news, Bapa stressed that it has become necessary to clear some obvious misconceptions about a certain statement emanating from his office on the alleged closure of telecom services, which has generated disturbing rumors in the state. In his words, he quotes, His Excellency Dr. Bello Muhammad Matawale, in his unusual concern over the menace of banditry in the state and his care for victims of such crimes, expressed his worry as he commiserated with the families of the recent abduction of young entrepreneurs of Bebeji Plaza. It was not enough for government to miscommiserate with victims like everyone else, but to inform the general public what measures it is taking to address the challenges at hand. Still on the news, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Akali Baba, has charged police officers attached to VIPs to carry out their duties with utmost professionalism, respect for fundamental rights, rule of law, and civility to members of the public in line with the Code of Conduct of Police Officers. The police boss equally condemned the reports, harassment and demeaning posture of some of those officers while on duty with their VIPs. IGP Akali Baba made the call while addressing officers and men of the Ekiti State Police Command at the command headquarters at Do Ekiti on Tuesday, 13th June 2022. In readiness for the Ekiti gubernatorial election scheduled to hold on Saturday, 18th June 2022. Moving on, a federal high court in Abuja has transferred a 1 billion naira suit situated against Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike to the High Court of Rivers State. Justice Iyang Edem Ekwo moved the case out of Abuja to Port Harcourt on grounds of jurisdictional issues. A chieftain of All Progressive Congress APC in the state, Chief Fubara Goodluck Oha, has dragged Wike before the Federal High Court, seeking order of the court to prohibit him from instigating security operative to unjustly apprehend him. Among others, the politician claimed that a video and audio were allegedly recorded by agents of Governor Wike linking him with the heinous crime of oil bunkering. The plaintiff asserted that the video recording where Wike declared him a bunker during a tour of a local government in the state was sent to his cell phone preparatory for his arrest by security agents. He claimed that upon a careful study of the video recording, he discovered that it was recorded by Chief Press Secretary to the governor, whose name was put as Kelvin Ebiri. However, when the matter was called, the issue of the jurisdiction of any Abuja court to entertain the suit was raised by some parties in the matter. Justice Ekwo, after a careful look at the originating summons, agreed that the proper place for the plaintiff to ventilate his anger is in the High Court of Rivers State. The judge invoked relevant provisions of the law and ordered the case to be transferred to Port Harcourt for adjudication. The governor of Ebonyi State, David Umahi, has directed the immediate suspension of the State Commissioner of Finance and Economic Development, Okechukwu Orlando Nweze, on grounds of alleged incompetence. His suspension was announced by the Secretary of the State Government, Ugbala Kenneth, on Wednesday in a statement which cited the inability of Orlando Nweze to discharge his duty effectively. The statement directed him to hand over to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance and Economic Development, before close of work on Wednesday, June 15, 2022. In business news, what would have been another air disaster in Nigeria was averted on Wednesday when a 4-member flight crew of Overland Airways made a successful landing of a distressed aircraft on the runway 18R of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, after the airplane's engine caught fire mid-air. The ATR-42 aircraft, which had 37 passengers on board, was flying from Ilorin to Lagos when the plane suddenly developed a major fault and the pilot sent out a mayday call to the Lagos Control Tower. Mayday is an emergency procedure word used internationally as a distressed signal in voice procedure radio communication. The Lagos Airport Control Tower consequently put the airport emergency response team, including the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria's Fire Service Department, on notice following the mayday. The pilot finally landed the faulty plane safely on the international airport's runway amid a fully prepared airport emergency response team. The World Bank says Nigeria's forex exchange reserve will fall in 2022 as the Central Bank of Nigeria plans to clear about $1.7 billion in the FX backlog of foreigners and FX backward contracts. The Global Apex Bank stated that the nation's reserve rose to $41.3 billion at the end of 2021, which offered it an opportunity for exchange rate adjustment. The World Bank said the nation's current account improved in 2021 as a result of its economic recovery from COVID-19, and further improvement is expected in 2022 due to increase in oil prices, remittance inflows, and non-oil exports. It further said that the pre-election is likely to add the hesitance of portfolio investors, keeping net inflow low. Latest figure by the National Bureau of Statistics shows that Nigeria's inflation rate has again surged to 17.71%. The report said that in May 2022, the inflation rate increased to 17.71% on a year-on-year basis. The NBS stated that its CPI and inflation reports May 22 is a 0.22 percentage points lower than the rate recorded in May 2022, which is 17.93%. The Central Bank of Nigeria has disbursed $21 billion to boost the production and exports of cocoa and sesame seeds. According to the bank, the CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele disclosed this at the last Monetary Policy Committee while reviewing the performance of its intervention schemes targeted at stimulating productivity in agriculture, manufacturing industries, energy and infrastructure, healthcare, exports, and small businesses. Under the initiative, the local commodities for value chains development were cashew, cocoa, palm oil, sesame seed, and shea. The funding is meant to increase capacity in the industry for export and foreign exchange generation. Women in Bayelsa State has risen to demand for their inclusion as beneficiaries of the benefits that accrue from oil spill-related incidents in their community, as they suffer huge livelihood losses as a result of pollution. They spoke at a one-day sensitization program themed Oil on Water. Women suffer oil spills in marine ecosystem in terms of livelihood and health, which was held at the Environmental Rights Action Front of the Earth Nigeria office in Yenagoa on Tuesday. It was organized by a community rights advocacy organization on Dewari Health Education and Environmental Project, with support from the Global Green Grants Fund. The women, who were drawn from several communities in the southern Ijo, Ogbia and Yenagoa local government areas of the state, vowed to assert their rights as they mostly bear the brunt of oil pollution and environmental degradation. Speaking, a woman leader from Ikarama community in Yenagoa local government area, Ayi Bakuro Wada, said, "We are marginalized in oil spill matters, even during joint investigation visits conducted on oil spill impact sites. Women will not be carried along, only men will be." Members of Ogbaru Relief Market Traders Forum, a group of traders in the Ogbaru main relief market, has commended Governor Chukwuma Soludo over the dissolution of the Executive Council of Markets in the state. The group stated that the dissolution has restored permanent peace, which has eluded Anambra markets since a flawed election took place. Making the commendation on Wednesday, the chairman for the forum, Felix Nwakwo, told journalists in Onitsha that the steps taken by the governor through the Commissioner for Trade and Commerce, Obinna Ngonadi, showed that the government has abreast of happening in all the markets in the state. Nwankwo, who was flanked by his secretary, Chief Uche Okoli, said most of the committee members had overstayed their welcome, having stayed beyond the lifespan of a tenure, while others rigged their ways to the seat of chairman during election. It was recalled that Soludo has in May sacked 32 market executive council over flawed and manipulated election. You are still watching the news on One TV. Still ahead, the US-led coalition captures senior ISIS leader in Syria. This is the One TV Global News. Once again, our major headlines. Atiku finally unveils Okowa as running mate. Tinubu submits Masari's name as running mate. World Bank says Nigeria's FX reserve will gain. New pandemic hits North Korea. In health, the authorities in North Korea has announced that they are dealing with an outbreak of an unidentified intestinal sickness, adding to the strain caused by the spread of COVID-19 in the country. The country's leader, Kim Jong-un, has ordered quarantine measures be implemented. The official KCNA news agency reports. It said he sent medicines to Haeju City on Wednesday to help patients suffering from the acute enteric pandemic. Health experts say the illness could be typhoid or cholera. North Korea declared a state of emergency in May after it said millions of people were experiencing fever believed to be untested COVID-19 cases. It has not reported the number of people affected by the latest sickness outbreak or elaborated on what the disease is, but enteric refers to the gastrointestinal tract. In education, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has sued the Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, for suspending all union activities across state-owned higher institutions. The union, in a suit filed before the National Industrial Court in Benin by the Ambrose Ali University chapter, said the suspension was unconstitutional, illegal, null and void, and ultraversed the power of defendants. Other defendants in the suit are the Edo State government and the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice. It will be recalled that following the strike embarked upon by ASU, the Edo State government had, through the Secretary of the State Government, Osaro Dion Ego, announced the suspension of union activities in state-owned institutions. The government directed the management of institutions to implement a no-work, no-pay policy, declare vacant and advertise the position of any staff that refuses to resume work. Information from the National Assembly shows that the Senate has set machineries in motion for the establishment of the Federal University of Education Technical in Bichi, Kano State. In paving way for the establishment of the federal institution, the Red Chamber passed for second reading on Wednesday a bill sponsored to the effect by the senator representing Kano North, Jibrin Barau. Barau, in his lead debate for passage of the bill, said there was a need to have a strong system in the educational sector with the establishment of more institutions for the training of teachers. According to him, the objective of the proposed Federal University of Education in Bichi is to encourage the advancement of learning to all persons without distinction of race, creed, sex, or political conviction, amongst others. All the senators who contributed to the debate on the bill supported it and gave it overwhelming passage for the second reading when put to vote by the Senate Ahmad Lawan. In foreign news, barely 6 days after his inauguration as President of Somalia, President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud had appointed lawmaker Hamza Abi Bare as the country's prime minister, with the new premier facing a host of challenges, including a looming famine and an Islamist insurgency. Making his choice of premier known on Wednesday, President Mohamud also asked the new prime minister to accelerate his priority tasks, which include issues such as security, drought, reconciliation, as well as working on improving the country's relationship with the rest of the world. The 48-year-old MP from the semi-autonomous state of Jubaland replaces Mohammed Hussein Robel, whose 22 months in office were marred by a rancorous dispute with Mohammed's predecessor, Muhammad Abdullahi. Mohammed that threatened to plunge Somalia back into violent chaos. Barre, whose name has circulated widely on social media before his appointment was officially announced, was voted in as an MP in Kismayo, the commercial capital of Jubaland, in December, in a long delayed and chaotic election process. He has served as Secretary General of the Peace and Development Party, PDP, the precursor to the Union of Peace and Development, UDP, now led by Mohammed. With a background in research and academia, the new premier has also been involved in the education sector, co-founding Kismayo University and leading a community-based network that aimed to rebuild the country's schooling system after it was battered by the civil war. The president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, has called for the deployment of the regional force under the auspices of East African Community, EAC, to the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo to restore peace. Speaking on Wednesday, Uhuru said the ongoing open conflict in the region threatens to derail political efforts to restore order in the country of 19 million people, noting that military chiefs from the 7 EAC countries are to meet Sunday to finalize preparation for the deployment of regional forces. In his word, he quotes, "The East Africa Regional Force must be deployed immediately to Ituri North and South Kivu provinces to stabilize the region and restore peace." The March 23 movement, M23, a Tutsi dominant rebellion defeated in 2013 by the Congolese army and United Nations peacekeepers, took up arms again at the end of 2021, blaming Congolese authorities for failing to comply with an agreement for the demobilization and reintegration of its fighters. A week to the visit of United States President Joe Biden to Saudi Arabia, authorities in Washington, D.C. have renamed the street in front of the Saudi embassy Jamal Khashoggi Way, a move that knocks Riyadh for its role in killing of dissident Saudi activists and journalists in 2018. With members of District of Columbia Council in attendance, a Jamal Khashoggi Way sign and unveiled directly in front of the embassy's main entrance. According to Nihad Awad, Executive Director of the Council on American Islamic Relations, whenever you have to give direction for people to come to your Saudi embassy, you have to honor his name. His name will continue to haunt you. 59-year-old Khashoggi, a prominent Saudi journalist and Washington Post columnist, died in controversial circumstances when he visited the Saudi consulate in Istanbul on October 2, 2018, seeking the necessary documentation for a planned marriage with his fiancée, who was outside waiting for him. United States of America-led coalition forces say they have captured a senior leader of the jihadist group Islamic State (ISIS) in an overnight raid in northern Syria. The coalition report said the man, identified as Hani Ahmad al-Kodi, was an expert bomb maker and operational facilitator. A monitoring group said troops were dropped by 2 helicopters in Hamumari, close to the Turkish border in opposition-held Aleppo province. The coalition statement said the mission was meticulously planned to minimize the risk of collateral damage or civilian harm. And this is our package for tonight. Before we go, let's take a look at our major stories. Atiku has finally unveiled Okowa as running mate. Tinubu has submitted Masari's name as running mate. World Bank said Nigeria's FX reserve will fall again. US-led coalition has captured senior ISIS leader in Syria. Thanks for joining us. I am Sophia Abraham.